Okay, so we're over at the 41. It had an issue with the number 6 spark plug. Plugs weren't that old, but number 6 wasn't firing. This was a few weeks ago, so I took one of the Champion spark plugs out of the Weasel engine that's frozen, and I put it in here, and now we have all 6 firing. The engine's warmed up a bit. This is the inside of the 40 amp 6 volt voltage regulator, and it's really clean. I looked at this when I first got the truck, and knowing how well these electronics were built, it's probably still going to work. It's clean inside. Now, what we're going to look at here, let me see if I can get my gimbal down in here, is the 6 volt generator. It may not do what I need it to do. So let's try that. There we go. So we can see the commutator inside the generator, and it didn't have a dust cover on it, so it's pretty heavily laden with grime and carbon dust. One way you can clean that if you don't have a lathe is you get yourself a stick with a square end. I have 800 grit sandpaper here. Hopefully it'll fit in there. Let's see, this is tough. And then all you got to do is press it on the commutator with the engine running. There we go. My stick is a little too wide, so we'll be right back. Well, I shut the engine down to go cut a new piece of sandpaper. Sometimes I'm, as the Brits would say, penny wise and pound foolish. So I made the stick a little bit narrow, and there's our grit sandpaper. I'm just going to fold this tightly over the end and kind of squish the ends down a little bit. This way you can hang on to it. So let's start the engine back up. I changed the you can just barely see it, maybe right there at the end of my finger. I changed the negative ground on the coil because I was having the positive lead terminal, or positive lead, just I would take it off and sometimes it would spark all over the place. Last thing I need is a fire. So here we go. Going to increase the revolutions per minute, RPM. Alright, so we can see down inside the generator at the commutator, and I got it a little bit clean, so all we got to do is just do that a few times, and then I'll move the part that's loaded up. down and it's steady. There may be some vibration. Kill the engine, we'll take a closer look at, I think my gimbal died. Nope. It didn't like the position it was in, so it did turn itself off. All right. So now, wow, that's pretty clean in there. Let's see if I can get you guys a closer look. All right, gimbal off. Well, I didn't want to focus that closely, but you guys can see how in just a short amount of time how clean the commutator came. A lot cleaner than it was. And that's all I did with the Weasel commutator, the commutator and the Weasel generator. But I didn't spin the commutator. I just held it in my hands and polished it that way. I bet that if I take this thing apart and clean it up, check the bearings, and do all that good stuff that I did to the others, this will make electricity again. The brushes appear to be pretty full, so I may do that. Turning my gimbal back on here. All right, so that's just a quick educational video on how to polish a commutator. One time, a long time ago, when I was a kid, younger, I stuck my finger in there with 750, 800 grit sandpaper. It worked, but it was too cowboy, yeah, too gorilla shit. So, all right, that's it. Let's say goodbye. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna go fix something else.